Please excuse my voice as I am sick. But anyways, going into the activities, we had a flashcard match challenge, which is where it's an interactive matching game on Wordwall, and they drag the digital cards and drop them to the matching components and to its name and its basic function, and the tool that they use provides instant right or wrong visual feedback. Alright, please excuse my voice as I am a bit ill. But going into the activities, we had flashcard match challenge where learners used an interactive matching game on Wordwall to drag and drop a digital card matching to the matching component image, which would be like your cell, your bulb, your wire, or your switch. And then they would drag it to its name and basic function, and the tool that they use does provide instant feedback in the form of visual feedback. The second game was Virtual Circuit Simulation Lab. Learners used the PHET interactive simulation, which is it's a circuit construction kit, and then they click and drag a battery and wires, a switch, etc. onto a digital canvas, and they connect them successfully to light up the bolt and toggle the switch open and closed to see the moving electrons through the circuit. And then the third activity was a 5-question Kahoot quiz, which they did, and the quiz featured images of non-functioning circuits where they were, for example, missing wire, open switch, 2 batteries facing the wrong way, and then learners would have to analyze that and select the correct reason why the circuit did fail. Okay, so the lesson that we are doing revolves around electrical circuits, which typically is done in term 3 of grade 6, and the objectives of this lesson is remembering and understanding. They need to identify and explain the functions of the components in an electrical circuit. So we want them to be able to do that, and then they need to be able to apply and analyze this knowledge. They need to build a visual circuit that works and it is effective to demonstrate how electricity flows through a closed path in a circuit. And then thirdly, they need to evaluate and create. So they need to evaluate a broken circuit or a circuit diagram, and they need to diagnose the fault and find a solution to make it work. And then the 3 phases we had was introduction, development, and consolidation. So for the introduction, we gave them an activity to do, flashcard match challenge. The learners used an interactive matching game on Wordwall. It was just to get them going a bit, and so that they can actually identify and explain the functions of components in a circuit. And then we had the virtual circuit simulation lab, which was in the development phase. Learners used a PHET interactive simulation. This was so that they can build a virtual circuit that actually demonstrates how the electricity flows through the path, or so that they can apply and analyze the knowledge. And then there was the third phase, consolidation, where circuit detective quiz is the thing that they did, the activity. Learners completed a 5-question quiz, and this was to evaluate them to see where they are in terms of the knowledge they have regarding circuits. Alright, so for the first activity, the ASMR level was argumentation or justification. Functional improvement. This replaces a traditional paper-based matching worksheet or drawing exercise on the chalkboard with a digital tool. The value added by this is it goes beyond simple substitution because the technology provides immediate and automatic feedback, so that helps a lot, and it helps with the learners getting them engaged. The second activity, ASMR level, would be modification and justification. It's a significant task redesign. This activity significantly redesigns the traditional classroom methods of learning about electrical current. In a physical classroom, learners often struggle to understand abstract concepts because electrons are invisible. The value added by this activity is that the simulation makes the invisible visible by showing animations of moving yellow electrons through the wires, so the students can actually see how those electrons travel through the circuit. And it also allows for very fast or rapid zero-cost trial and error. If a student creates a short circuit, the virtual battery safely catches fire in the simulation, which doesn't pose any real danger. So that's the ASMR evaluation for the second activity. And then we had the third activity, which falls in the consolidation phase. Learners did this on Kahoot. They had a 5-question quiz, which they did. They had a look at the circuit that is broken. So there's a wire missing, or the switch is open, or whatever have you. They saw it, they had to identify it, and then they had to choose whether the options there, they had to choose which option is the correct option in terms of what is wrong with the circuit and what needs to be fixed for it to be a complete working circuit. This introduces friendly peer competition throughout the real-time scoreboard that there is. It gets them all engaged, and learners tend to get really excited when they play this game. So the RCT tools that were used during this lesson would be the smart board, which is an interactive screen, quite big so that all the students can see it. And then the students have their own iPads, which are also used to basically answer the questions, and then the iPad sends feedback back to the smart board, which sends data to the leaderboard. So the things that we used were a smart board and the iPads. Alright, please excuse my voice as I'm a bit sick. So for our activities, let me just have a look here. So we had 3 activities.